Okay, I got one more question for you from Michael McCulloch. And I hadn't heard of this, but he said, I would love to know or see the update on the Dirty Burst he bought in London. It was delivered to him at the Royal Albert Hall. I Googled that and saw some pictures of the Dirty Burst. So did you restore that guitar?
Do you want to see it?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Can you make a hard cut?
Oh, yeah.
I'll go get it. I renamed it because it's a terrible name.
Ooh, you put the what do you call it? The Oreo. What do we call those pickups?
Zebras. All right. So this is this is a 60, and this was the one that Mike found from ATB Guitars. It was under a staircase somewhere outside of Birmingham, UK, and the guy bought it out of Melody Maker magazine like in 1967 after seeing Clapton with the Blues Breakers for like 50 pounds. He kept it. And it had a Bigsby on it, not stock, not original to the guitar. It was originally a stop tail guitar, which gone. Thank you. Put the stop tail back on there. This guitar, contrary to the narrative, didn't need much at all. When I got it at the Royal Albert Hall, it's the last time we were there, it didn't have the pickguard on it. I don't think Mike wanted me to see the pickguard. And I bought it, I thought it was missing a pickguard. I had a couple extra pickguards laying around, but that doesn't matter. So when I see it, the frets are roached. Couldn't even get a chord out of it. You know, it's like it just didn't. And I made the deal with Mike, and I said, listen, I don't want, he goes, well, we're going to restore it. I go, don't. I go, I won't want it. I go, I'll take the whole thing as is. And I buy it from him. And the original pickups are not in this guitar. They're actually in a Telecaster, of all things. The original pickups stopped working. They had oxidized and they needed rewinds. So the original front pickup was a zebra. The original back pickup was a double cream or double white. My friend Rob at Arcane Pickups in North Hollywood restored the original pickups, and they sound great. And I just stuck them in the 68 Telly that was routed for 200, and the thing sounds so good that I couldn't go back. I'm like, well, eventually they'll get back in here, but not right now. Yeah. My friend Charlie Daughtry gave me a set of these Zebras PAFs that he had laying around since the 90s, and this thing sounded so good. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do the swap. It needed frets, and this pick guard at one point they installed a phase switch. And they ran the wires underneath the pickguard through this ring into the control cavity, which is completely stock. And it's just detached. And people always ask, like, what's the switch do? I go, it's a danger switch. If you see me switch it,
watch out.
Accuse the tour manager that we have a security breach in the second row. You know, but this is what they call a double O. So a double O is the serial number on it is 00352, or is it? Yeah, 00352. So that denotes that this guitar was made in the early parts of 1960. So it's essentially a 59. Has the same neck tenon, has the same paint, has the same everything, same big neck. And for years, like the double O's were kind of like the deal. The best value for the money, if you can call it that, in the burst world, because people again, hear with their eyes, and they're like, oh, it's a 60, so it's worth less. Well, it's the same guitar. It's a stamp. Right. You know, so people want to look down, and they want to look down, and they want to say, oh, 9, Holy Grail, 60, bad. It's not that. Yeah. And so this was the one I got from Mike, and it didn't need much. And
that's the most faded burst I think I've ever seen. It's so cool. Pretty much,
it's faded. There's times where I'm like, oh, man, maybe I should just stick that in the sun and just fade the whole thing. But eventually the spotlight will do that. But this one I call the Royal Albert, because that's where it came from. And literally, I got it home. I flew it back. I think the Albert Hall shows were the last of the tour. And basically, I bought a seat for it, brought it to Nashville, and Nick over at Joe Glazier's, and I texted him. I said, I'm bringing you something. You may hate me, but I'm bringing you something that needs a little TLC. He calls me 2 days later. He goes, I got your guitar done. I'm like, okay. And new frets, and it's a great guitar. And this is one of the Road ones that are it's generally in heavy rotation. And all you got to do is it's not broken anywhere. It's just sat for 55 years. And when things sit around, kind of like old cars or old amps, you can hear the amp.
They get weird. Yeah,
it's
like a house. You got to live in it, or it starts getting wonky.
The air conditioning stops working. You know what I mean? So this is the one I got from Mike, and I love it. I think it's a really cool guitar, and generally I'm a covers guy. I like the way they look with covers, but when I got it back and I plugged it in, I was like, this thing sounds so good as is. I'm not even going to look at it. I'm not even going to touch it. I don't want to see it. I don't even want to acknowledge it. Well, been sitting for a minute. So.
Yeah, you don't get that with an amp simulator.
You don't get that with a new guitar, I'll tell you that,